Okay, one more supplement. We talked about how our belief that the quantum entity came first in this sequence of step-by-step events that we're describing for the start of the universe. The thing that came second, I wanted to talk a little bit about the evidence for that and how it's probably the part of the general relativity theory. It's more than general relativity because this also involves quantum mechanics. But the reason that a gravity type, space-time creating type entity came second, and what it was like. Very likely it had to have to do with quarks and gluons and what's called the strong nuclear force, which is what makes quarks and gluons stick together inside protons and neutrons and stay together as particles. This is the only force out of the four that in our current universe, the way it exists now, it's the only force that has this property, very important one, called asymptotic freedom. Asymptotic freedom means that you are able to, when you squeeze down to the smallest space scales, to the scales that would have come out of the vacuum, the behavior of this force disappears. It gets weaker and weaker and weaker until it's just not there. So it naturally can just come squeezing out of nothing, out of the vacuum, because it starts as no force, and as the actualization of the inflaton or the kaon that's going to create the inflaton starts happening, it builds up some strength. So yeah, it's one part, only one part of the complex story of particles that we have today, called the particle zoo. And it's called that for a pretty good reason, because it's such a mishmash and a hodgepodge and just a mess, and most of the particles don't even exist in our current universe except in the most extreme conditions, like something getting hit by a intergalactic cosmic ray or something like that. So the most important point, and I made this already in general, but I want to make it again, is that I'm proposing, what the Song of Everything is proposing is a model or a sketch or an example, not absolutely what happened and this is it. It's probably, there is probably no absolutely what happened and this is it story. As I said, it's unfalsifiable. Math can be used to create all kinds of different models, and many of them will be functional, will work. And any of them could be the one that actually happened. And there will be no way to tell which one that is. Alright, so that's the kaon's story, the story of what the kaon might be evolving into as we go from these tiny little germ universes that only involve the kaon and the yin-yang-on and nothing else except the vacuon, allowing them to create inflation and the big block universe that we see. And we'll talk about block universe. And that's part of the Easter Bunny story, which we're going to get to next. Alright, that's all for now. Thanks again. Take care. Bye-bye.